Alright, so welcome to part 3. In part 3, we're just going to focus on why science communication. What is the rationale of science communication? Why science communication is important. So, let's start. So, science communication, I've listed 6 of this. The importance of science communication. First, for scientists or personal benefit, personal benefit of the scientists. Second is the social contract. Third is the peer and political recognition. The fourth is the public trust and support. Fifth, to recruit more talent into science. And sixth is the proliferation of communication channel and sources of information. So let's start. According to Carl Sagan, not explaining science seems to me preserved. When you are in love, you want to tell the world. So Carl Sagan, if you remember, he's one of the science popularizers. He's also a scientist. Um, scientists, sorry, scientists need science communication is for their own personal benefits, because when you communicate what you do in the lab to the public, so people will know what you have done, and it's kind of sense of duty, isn't it? You tell people what you have done. You need to it is a duty, and it's also a sense of satisfaction. So when you work in your lab, like not even 9 to 5, some of you have to work from like around the clock. So once what you have work on get being told to other people, especially to the public, to the mass public, it is sort of, it gives you a sense of satisfaction. So it is for personal benefit. Next is the for social contract. So we have the picture of our DG Hisham here. Scientific institutions have to share scientific results with the public and with important stakeholders. The social contract is not complete until the results are communicated. So why I choose this daily PC of our COVID-19 report. So you can see that the institution here is our government, not only just government, um, specifically our Ministry of Health. So it is an institution. So they have to share their results to the public and also the important stakeholders, not just the public, also all those NGOs, all those companies who drive the economy, so they know whether the coronavirus is under control or we are still overwhelmed by the cases. So this is the social contract between scientists, in this case doctors, or even scientists, people who are doing lab work, testing, giving you the result of their cases test. They are scientists. So they have to communicate their results to the public. Only then the social contract is complete. So yeah, one of the reasons why we need to do science communication is because of science social contract. Next, because of public trust and support. So scientists can expect someone else, like politician or journalist, to defend the interests of science. Okay, by saying this, basically what you're, for example, if you're a scientist, you're doing your work in the lab, you cannot expect politician who has no idea um, on what you're doing to defend you from the public. Take an example of Donald Trump and Dr. Fauci. If you know who Dr. Fauci is, I think he's the director. I don't exactly know what his title, but basically he's the epidemiologist, if I'm not mistaken, in America. So Dr. Fauci is, Google it, Dr. Fauci, Fauci, and Donald Trump. So Trump is going to tell you all this funny stuff that's not quite, that's ridiculous. But Dr. Fauci is the one who's going to tell you exactly the facts and numbers related to coronavirus in America. So only because he's a scientist, he's a doctor, so only he can actually defend himself based on due to the interest of science. So basically you cannot expect politician to defend you because you are the one who knows the knowledge of science. So there are times when it is essential to make a scientifically based voice heard loud and clear. so that to establish society a deeper and more solid relationship based on trust. Um, because you don't if you ask other people, like if you ask Trump to give you information about science, you can't, because he has no idea about it, and he sometimes manipulate or maybe derail from the fact. So but you need politicians to get public support. So that's why you yourself need to communicate science to the public so that you will get the public support. In other words, in conclusion, science communication is important for scientists so that they can gain public trust and support. And plus, public trust and support is a prerequisite for political support and also financial support. Um, Next is peer and political recognition. So when you communicate science to public, it will help also other scientists to inform their activities. So in a way, you are overcoming the barriers between separate different disciplinary fields. Like I told you just now, scientists has different language. Even between each disciplines, they have different language. Like people in maths don't talk the same language people in bio. So when you have science communication, let's say you communicate through social media and people in math read what you write related to your discovery in biology, you are overcoming the barriers which initially was separating you guys because you have different disciplinary fields. So that's why you need a very that's why you need highly circulated newspapers. For example, in this site is the New York Times, to publish what you have worked on, so other colleague in other discipline will notice what you have done. Um, so, and also it's definitely because of um, recognition from other disciplinary and recognition of political recognition. And like I said, due to political recognition, you can get funding. So plus, in the times of economic hardship, it is difficult for some publics to appreciate research, and then not many people would like to invest in research. So they may place a lower value on root science, and that's why you need to communicate your research, or you need to communicate science to the public so they will understand the significance of your research. Therefore, the investor will invest in your research or your discovery. Um, if you remember last year, was it last year? I'm not sure. This year, there were discussion about these flying cars, and then people were mocking about it. But the thing is, because I think people behind this invention, not really invention, behind this innovation, did not come up and tell us straight of what are their innovation about, what are the significant financial investment if the government invests in this innovation. So people are, not really taking it seriously. But if people behind this innovation, the scientists, the group of scientists actually comes out and tell people what they are doing, what are their plan, definitely people will get more interested. And then when people get interested, there will be more money coming in. Another rationale for science communication is to recruit more talent into science. So in Malaysia, the target ratio for students enrolled for STEM and student non-STEM program is actually 60-40, but eventually these targets are not met. Science communication is one of the reason, because there are lack of science emphasis in our mass media. So it could lead to the lack of interest among students to enroll in science. And also there are other factors that um, lead to this situation, maybe because of the job opportunities. Um, but yeah, I think we need to communicate more. We need to communicate science in the mass media, in the social media, so that students can get more exposure, and then they can be more interested in science. Next is proliferation of communication channels and sources of information needs more proactive scientists in promoting and defending science. I will talk more about this in the next part.